Early morning, a small modest apartment. Clara, black single mother, wakes up tired. Alarm clock rings at 5:30 a.m. She tiptoes so her son can sleep longer. Coffee brewing in an old kettle. She packs her cleaning supplies bag. Looks at unpaid bills stacked on the table. Her eyes show quiet worry. Clara's son, David, 10, wakes up rubbing his eyes. He's cheerful, unlike his exhausted mom. "Morning, Mama," he says with a smile. She hugs him tightly, kissing his forehead. Breakfast is simple, bread and peanut butter. David notices her skipping her meal. "Aren't you eating?" he asks. "I'll eat later at work," she lies. She ties his shoelaces neatly. He packs his little school bag. She checks her phone. Babysitter cancels. Clara freezes in panic. No one to watch David today. "Mama, I can stay alone," he offers. Clara shakes her head. Too dangerous. She sighs, making a tough decision. "You'll come with me today." David's eyes light up, curious. They rush out of the apartment. Old bus rattles down the street. "Klar klotzes hier bei Zeitli." David peers out the window, excited. Clara rehearses excuses in her head. What if Mr. Anderson gets angry? The bus stops in front of Mansion Gate, a massive estate with tall, iron gates. Clara straightens her uniform nervously. Security guard nods as she enters. David holds her hand, whispering, "Wow." Mansion stands tall, marble steps gleaming. Clara rings the bell, her heart pounding. Butler opens the door politely. Clara whispers nervously, "This is my son." Butler raises an eyebrow, but says nothing. David removes his shoes politely. Marble floors stretch across the grand hallway. Chandeliers hang like stars above. Clara whispers, "Stay close to me." David nods, wide-eyed. She begins dusting the furniture. David quietly watches her work. He notices expensive books on a shelf. He whispers, "Mama, can I look?" Clara shakes her head firmly. Heavy footsteps echo down the stairs. Mr. Anderson, tall, in his 50s, appears. He's dignified, wealthy, yet sharp-eyed. Clara freezes, caught. "Who's this?" he asks calmly. Clara stammers nervously. "My son, sir. I had no one to leave him with." She bows her head apologetically. Silence fills the grand hall. Mr. Anderson studies David. David bravely says, "Good morning, sir." His polite tone surprises the boss. Mr. Anderson nods curtly. As long as he behaves. Clara exhales in relief. She returns to scrubbing the floor. David stands quietly, hand behind his back. He notices a grand piano in the corner. His eyes sparkle with curiosity. He whispers, "Mama, look at that." Clara hisses, "Don't touch anything." Mr. Anderson glances at him. "Do you like the piano, boy?" David nods shyly. "I've never played one before." Mr. Anderson raises an eyebrow. "Would you like to try?" Clara panics. "No, sir, he might break." Mr. Anderson waves his hand. "Let him." David hesitates, then steps closer. His small fingers hover over the keys. He presses a single note. Soft echo fills the room. He experiments with a simple tune. A melody emerges, surprisingly graceful. Clara watches in disbelief. Mr. Anderson leans forward, intrigued. David plays a song he learned from TV. The butler pauses, stunned. Clara's hands tremble on the mop handle. The boy plays with raw passion. His face lights up with joy. Mr. Anderson murmurs, "Extraordinary." Clara whispers, "He taught himself." The mansion feels alive with music. David finishes the piece, looking shy. Silence. Then slow clapping from Mr. Anderson. David blushes, embarrassed. Clara quickly apologizes. "I'm sorry, sir. He didn't mean." Mr. Anderson interrupts. "No, don't apologize." He kneels down to David's level. "How did you learn that?" David shrugs shyly. "Videos on Mama's old phone." Mr. Anderson frowns, impressed yet saddened. Clara lowers her head, ashamed. "We can't afford lessons." Mr. Anderson walks to the window, silently. He stares at the gardens, deep in thought. Clara wrings her hands nervously. "Please, sir, it won't happen again." Mr. Anderson turns back slowly. His eyes soften, a rare sight. The boy has talent. Clara whispers, "Yes, but dreams are expensive." Mr. Anderson sits in a leather chair. "Tell me, David, what do you want to be?" David's eyes glow. A musician, maybe even a composer. Silence fills the air. Mr. Anderson smiles faintly. Then you should have the chance. Clara gasps. Sir. Mr. Anderson stands firmly. From today, I'll sponsor his education. Clara freezes in shock. Sir, we can't accept that. Mr. Anderson lifts a hand. This is not charity. It's investment. David blinks in surprise. You mean music school? Mr. Anderson nods. Private lessons, instruments, everything you need. Clara's knees weaken. Tears fill her eyes. Why would you do this for us? Mr. Anderson pauses. Because someone once did it for me. His voice softens, almost nostalgic. I was a poor boy once too. Clara covers her mouth in disbelief. The millionaire wasn't always rich. David asks, Did you play piano too? Mr. Anderson chuckles faintly. No, but someone believed in me. Clara wipes her tears quickly. Thank you, sir, thank you. David hugs his mother tightly. Mr. Anderson calls the butler. Contact the music academy tomorrow. Butler bows, yes, sir. Clara feels like she's dreaming. David whispers, Mama, is this real? She nods, overwhelmed. Mr. Anderson offers his hand to the boy. Work hard, David. That's all I ask. David shakes his hand firmly. A bond is formed in that moment. Clara silently prays in gratitude. Mr. Anderson watches them leave that day. For the first time in years, he smiles warmly. Next morning, Clara prepares David's clothes. He wears a neat shirt for his first lesson. They arrive at a music school. A professional pianist greets them. David sits at a grand piano. Teacher guides his fingers gently. Music flows effortlessly. Clara watches with tears of joy. Mr. Anderson secretly observes from outside. He nods with approval. David practices every day after school. His confidence grows rapidly. Clara balances work and supporting him. Mansion becomes like a second home. David sometimes plays for the staff. They all clap and cheer him on. Clara thanks Mr. Anderson repeatedly. He only says, make sure he never wastes this chance. David earns a small scholarship after a recital. Mr. Anderson attends proudly. Clara can't stop smiling through tears. The audience applauds loudly. David bows shyly on stage. Backstage, Mr. Anderson pats his shoulder. That was only the beginning. David grins. I'll make you proud, sir. Clara whispers, you already have. Newspaper writes a small feature on David. Prodigy from humble background shines. Clara frames the article in their small home. She touches it every morning. Mr. Anderson expands his support. He buys David his own piano for practice. Clara sobs upon seeing it delivered. David hugs his boss gratefully. Mr. Anderson chuckles. It's yours now. Nights echo with David's practice. Neighbors gather outside to listen. Music fills the small apartment block. Clara's struggles slowly ease. She takes fewer double shifts. David's school grades improve too. Mr. Anderson becomes like family. He sometimes shares dinner with them. David asks him stories of his youth. Mr. Anderson shares lessons about hard work. Clara watches them bond like father and son. It warms her tired heart. Years begin to pass quickly. David's skills soar. Music competitions await him. He stands tall, confident, ready. Clara cheers from the front row. Mr. Anderson stands beside her, clapping proudly. David's name echoes in announcements. First prize, David Johnson. Clara cries uncontrollably. Mr. Anderson rests a hand on her shoulder. He earned it. Cameras flash. David smiles brightly. His journey has truly begun. But deep inside, Clara remembers that one day, the day she brought her son to work, the day everything changed forever. Morning sunlight streams into Clara's modest apartment. David, now a teenager, practices at the upright piano gifted by Mr. Anderson. His fingers glide confidently across the keys. Clara cooks breakfast, listening proudly. She hums along to his melody. David pauses, smiling at his mother. Mama, this song is for you. She wipes her eyes, pretending not to cry. Apartment neighbors gather at the door, listening quietly. Music spills down the hallway. Children peek inside curiously. Clara offers them tea while David plays. Mr. Anderson arrives unannounced. He stands at the doorway, arms folded. A rare warm smile spreads across his face. David stops abruptly. "Sir, I didn't know you were here." "Don't stop," Mr. Anderson insists. David resumes, playing passionately. Mr. Anderson nods in rhythm. Clara whispers, "He's come so far." Mr. Anderson answers softly, "This is only the beginning." Later, Mr. Anderson drives them to a prestigious academy. A banner reads, "Regional Youth Music Competition." David clutches his sheet music nervously. Clara squeezes his hand. "Just play with your heart." Backstage, David hears other talented kids warming up. He swallows hard, intimidated. Mr. Anderson places a firm hand on his shoulder. "You belong here." David nods, breathing deeply. The announcer calls his name. Clara clasps her hands tightly. The spotlight shines on David. He sits at the grand piano, audience silent. He takes one deep breath. His fingers begin to dance. A powerful melody fills the hall. Judges lean forward, intrigued. Clara silently mouths the notes with him. Mr. Anderson watches, chest swelling with pride. The piece ends with a soaring final chord. The hall erupts in applause. David bows humbly. Tears stream down Clara's cheeks. Mr. Anderson claps louder than anyone. Judges exchange impressed glances. David wins first place. Clara hugs him tightly, sobbing. Mr. Anderson says simply, "I told you." Reporters snap photos. Prodigy from humble beginnings, headlines read. David is offered a scholarship to a top music academy. Clara gasps in disbelief. Mr. Anderson signs papers to cover the rest of the costs. "No excuses," he tells them. David begins attending the academy. He struggles at first, so many talented peers. Clara encourages him daily. "Remember where you started, son?" Mr. Anderson visits occasionally, checking progress. David practices late into the night. Teachers praise his dedication. He wins another competition. Clara beams with pride. "My boy's going places," she whispers. Mr. Anderson hosts a small dinner in his honor. Staff applaud as David performs at the mansion. Even the butler smiles proudly. Clara whispers to Mr. Anderson, "You gave him wings." Mr. Anderson shakes his head. He was always ready to fly. Years pass. David grows into a young man. Clara's hair begins to gray, but her face glows with joy. David prepares for a national audition. The pressure is immense. Clara prays every night. Mr. Anderson arranges extra tutoring. David pours his soul into practice. The audition day arrives. Hundreds of competitors line up. David grips his music sheets nervously. Clara strokes his hair. "Play like you're playing for me." Mr. Anderson adds firmly, "And for yourself." David steps into the spotlight. His music stuns the judges. One judge wipes away a tear. When he finishes, the hall explodes in applause. Clara clutches her chest, crying. Mr. Anderson silently nods, proud. Results are announced. David earns a full scholarship abroad. Clara nearly faints from joy. David hugs her tightly. "Mama, we made it." She sobs, "No, son. You made it." Mr. Anderson places his hand on David's shoulder. "Go. The world is waiting for you." Months later, airport farewell scene. Clara hugs David tightly, refusing to let go. "Call me every day," she insists. Mr. Anderson hands him a letter. "Open this when you're alone." David boards the plane with misty eyes. Clara cries quietly at the gate. Mr. Anderson stands beside her silently. "He'll be fine," he assures. In his dorm abroad, David opens the letter. Inside, a check for his expenses. And a note, "Talent is nothing without hard work. Never forget where you came from." David clutches the letter, tears falling. Clara receives daily calls, David thriving. She proudly tells her co-workers, "My son is studying overseas." Years later, a concert hall lights up. Banner, David Johnson, piano recital. The audience includes critics, fans, and dignitaries. Clara sits in the front row, heart pounding. Mr. Anderson, older now, sits beside her. David walks on a stage in a black suit. Applause roars. Clara whispers, "That's my baby." David begins playing his own composition. The hall is mesmerized. Clara weeps openly, overwhelmed with pride. Mr. Anderson nods, deeply moved. David finishes to a standing ovation. Clara rushes to hug him backstage. "You did it, son." Mr. Anderson clasps his hand firmly. "I knew you would." Reporters surround them, flashing cameras. Maestro David Johnson, rising star. Clara smiles, wiping tears. She whispers to Mr. Anderson, "I'll never forget your kindness." He answers quietly, "Just promise me he'll never waste his gift." Years later, David buys Clara a new home. She cries, seeing the keys in her hand. "Mama, no more cleaning other people's houses." She hugs him tightly. Mr. Anderson visits them, friendlier now. David plays him a private piece of music. "I wrote this for you, sir." Mr. Anderson closes his eyes, listening peacefully. A proud smile spreads across his face. Clara whispers a prayer of gratitude.